few months. Okay, I think we're ready now. All right.
Cool.
Welcome in. I am so happy that you found us. This is Fresh Talks Global Vision. We've been focusing in on Mindset Matters. Mindset Matters is I think, one of the most important things to be able to step into so that you can create whatever you want. It can affect your health and wellness. It can affect relationships. It can affect business. It can affect cash flow. Everything tethers together. Normally, we've been doing these 1 month shows and having 4 to 6 people on with us. And I said, oh my gosh, why don't I do these one-off conversations? And I've been doing them almost every day. And I've been finding a nice free flow and a motivation around it because I really do believe that this is the route of making life better. I believe that we're all here to create something that is unique based on each person. Our conversation in the Fresh Talks Global Vision and our global vision, we call it hashtag speaker locking arms. We have about 62,000 views, people kind of checking it out. And so my thing is, if we stop the blaming and the shaming out there, people like us that are looking for that stuff, like it can drive us crazy watching the stuff that's out there. But how can we build this beauty and the frequency up? And mine is stop the blaming and shaming. So that's what Mindset Matters is about. That's what the show is about. But I want to bring Liz Hodge in here because she probably has her specific things that she likes to say, this is how I want the world to change, because we're all locking arms. We all have a strong voice. And after being on medicine for 20 years and I've been off for 8 years, it's learning to speak our voice. Welcome in, Liz Hodge.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. I wanted to do, like a proper introduction because I like doing that so people know who you are. And then we'll get in there. And what you were saying, even when we were in the green room, we were talking about that there's a myriad of things that you have going on. We were talking about your website and how can we make that clean, so people know where to go. So I know you have a variety of areas you want to talk about. I just want to bring all that in and how we can tether it around how people show up based on what you're doing out there in coaching and running your business. And for sure, I don't even know if you actually even call yourself a coach. So we'll get into that too. Okay, so Liz Hodge, MA, these are initials, RTTP, CHYP. Now I'll ask what those are because that's like she's like jamming with these initial things. So we gotta know what that is.
Yeah,
Speaker, educator, voice teacher. Oh, I love that. Coach. Oh, coach. I see it right there. And presentation coach, rapid transformational therapy practitioner, and certified hypnotherapist. Oh, Liz. I've been looking at this hypnotism stuff and just all these things we're learning about people and stuff. Welcome in, my friend. Where do you want to start with this? You may have a story, but can you share with me literally your education? You have many abbreviations there. Can we start first on education? And you love laughing. I do too. So we're going to have a lot of laughing here.
Yeah, a lot of education for sure. I have my master's degree in vocal performance from San Jose State University. I started out singing opera and did that professionally for a little bit and spent 20 years raising 2 wonderful daughters and got back into music and started doing music theater again. And then I went to Austria a few years ago and did a wonderful, wonderful residency in Austria as a classical singer, and then came back and been teaching all through of that and just kind of realized that a lot of kind of how I got into speech coaching is people were coming to me, especially women, were coming to me wanting to improve their speech. And I realized there was a gap kind of in the education of people in learning to use their voices in speech. And so this is kind of where I kind of moved into that or kind of expanded into that. And basically what I do is I teach the same vocal technique that I teach to my singers. I teach the same thing to my speakers because it's basically the same kind of mechanics kind of a thing. Yeah. So that was exciting. And then we kind of got into storytelling and really wanting to invite my students to look into themselves and realizing that they have, you said that earlier that you believe everybody has a unique quality, right, in them. I believe that as well. In fact, I use that a lot, that I believe that everybody has a unique inner genius that needs to be fully expressed. And this really comes from kind of the bigger voices that we have inside. So it's really kind of learning to speak from the heart, make that heart-to-heart connection to your audience that they need to really have them express themselves fully and really express their what I call a transformative message. And that really comes from their mission, their inner that big inner voice that they have, and their values. And so I think the kind of the change that I notice in business, especially entrepreneurs, small, solopreneurs, we tend to be more heart-centered in our business. And I think that needs to come out in our stories, so it's all story driven, really, for sure. And our audiences might know, they might have an idea of what they need on the surface, but it's really our job as speakers and coaches to express things to them in a way where they go, oh yeah, that's me, I need that, right? And bring them into it, kind of invite them to go along with them, so they have the choice to go along with us as we speak to them. So we're making that heart-to-heart connection and really that exchange of energy that really is great communication. So I kind of got off education, but
I love all of this. I got to tell you a story, Liz. In the morning, where my office is, I call it the Fresh Inspiration Ranch. Just feels right. It's like along with this show. It's called, all about fresh inspiration. There's a horse that's next door. His name's Whiskey. And you were talking about like heart center. And horses are known to like really exude extra heart. Like there's something about that. And that's why there's like that equestrian healing and stuff. And so I talk to Whiskey every morning. Whiskey's in his 20s. So he's a wise, horse. He knows a lot. Yeah. And this morning when I saw him, I felt like he was right here, but there's literally two fences that are not too far away from each other, but like this, and he's on the other side. And there's times he's butt up in that corner, which I feel like he's waiting for me. Because I go, Whiskey, how's it going? How's it going, boy? And I do. I talk to him. I tell him he's got this. And I even like not even say anything, just kind of be with him. And I think of like meditating. I'm like crazy with horses, And but Whiskey felt so close to me this morning. And I felt like he could feel that I felt this small. Like sometimes we feel that way. Like I was starting my day like that instead of open and free. And I feel like he could feel that.
Right.
And I felt in my heart. And then when I did a couple laps and I came back through again and I felt that even bigger. And so I felt that. And I get very connected with him, as I do with my doggies too. I feel like they're my business partners.
Yeah.
And
yeah, my cat.
Yeah, and so I started almost crying when I was eating later on, because it was like so amazing. I finally like really acknowledged that moment with Whiskey. So where I want to go with this is you're talking about so many fabulous things about opening your voice, like your vocals, like almost being like your branding, like you learn to really speak to what you care about, and that is helping people get to know who you are, what you do, because that is what we have. I even said um, unique talent and voice inside us all. You specifically said that. So
Hmm.
how, since you feel the same way I do about this heart thing,
Hmm.
when you're working with people, and this is just for mindset information too for everybody that's watching us and replay or live, how do you help people get in their acknowledgement about the level they are in with heart, and how working with you they're just
Hmm.
going to keep growing and growing? And I can already hear your laugh and your loveliness, so I can see how somebody feels safe with you. But
Yeah.
like, how do you work with somebody so that they can like whoosh and let it go and really be with you and experience that?
Yeah, there's different things that we do. We work with the voice, of course, embodying the voice. Because, like I said before, so many of us speak from kind of the neck up, and we're so much in our left brain. And really, what I work with people on is really getting into their bodies. So, using the breath, getting the breath down to the pelvic floor, getting the body centered, really, and just keeping the breath down low and making sure that you're using your resonance fully. So you're really, the resonance happens in the skeleton. So if you put your hand on your chest and you go, ha, right, you can really feel the vibration there, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
fully embodying the resonance that we have in our voices. So it's not just about the breath and support, which is definitely needed. You're breathing into the pelvic floor, and you're using the pelvic floor as part of the support system as well as the
Mm.
abdominal diaphragm. So you're really kind of you can almost kind of picture a balloon or something like a ball sitting in your hips and sitting on the pelvic floor, and you think of the voices coming from there. And
Ooh.
so you're truly embodying the whole voice. We call singers. We often call them vocal athletes. But I think speakers are also vocal athletes. We use our whole body when we're speaking, and we use our hands. I use my hands a lot. So, but we move around the stage, and we're delivering our message, and we're really putting that energy out there. And so that's part of it. That's kind of the technical part of it. The nonverbal communication, how you're moving on stage, making sure the movements are organic and they're coming from the heart, and really what the story is you're telling, right? But then there's also kind of the what I call the psycho-emotional part of it, and this is really kind of the mindset part, is really moving people from that left brain to the right brain. So we use a lot of centering exercises, really
Mhm.
centering that energy down into the center of the body, physically in the center of the body, getting them into their right brain where it's quiet, it's creative, and you can really be present to what you're doing. So you're not worried about, oh, are they going to like my talk? Are they going to, what if I forget the words? What if I'm rejected? What if. So all of this chatter that's going on in the left brain, it's just quieted down. And so you're really able to be present. So you're able to deliver your transformative message in a very heartfelt way and really make that connection with the audience. And that's really where the real communication happens, because it's an exchange of energy. It's not just one way. And so,
Right. Yeah.
so that's kind of the support system that,
Yeah.
I like to think about it as kind of like a support system for the storyteller.
I'm as you're speaking, I see a ballerina dancing around, like or like floating. And I love the ball vision because I feel like the ball is bouncy. So as you're vibrating, it's interacting with you and playing. And I love this conversation because I can remember when I first started speaking, people would
Uh-huh.
say I was an intuitive speaker. So if
Mhm.
somebody went like, then I just grab it like and play with it in the talk. And
Right.
that's exactly what you're talking about. That's what we need in this
Mhm.
world is because we want our audience to be seen and heard, not talked at, like splatted on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
but I know that that feels more vulnerable for people because I've
Mhm.
worked with speakers too, and the vulnerability, because we're talking heart here, so if we can get people in their heart, like what you were talking about, getting
Mhm.
in the body,
Right.
then that heart center, what do you think about this and being in the body?
Mhm.
Can we talk about safety? Like, I believe we need freedom, safety, and healing really as speakers, is, to
Oh,
really show up. And you may have some words that you express. Those are like my pillars, I feel. But
mhm.
how do you feel about that? Does that heart center and getting in the body, does that help people so that they feel like they're not in that left brain, but they're really flowing with stuff, but they feel centered and that they can trust that and stay within that? You feel like that is kind of the work that needs to be done in
Yeah,
that, flow?
for sure. When you're in your body, you're out of the left brain, you're in the right brain.
Oh,
You're really able to make that connection. Um, as you were speaking, I something came to mind. Now it's popped out of my head. But can you? I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry.
Liz, it came organically. I don't even know. Let me see. The question.
Um,
Oh, you know what? It's about helping people feel safe when they're being very vulnerable and open. And I was
right.
asking about being in the body. Do you
Yeah.
feel like that is the way that you get them to really express themselves and
Right.
really
Right.
nail their talk? If we could talk more in that area, that'd be
Yes.
fabulous.
Okay. Now it's coming back to me. So,
Well, it
yeah. No.
wasn't a clean question.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. Not only do we work on kind of that supportive system that supports the story, but we also really talk about their values and really what do you value? Because so many of our businesses nowadays and our talks nowadays are really based on our values. And if you're really centered in your values and you really know what your mission is, that's your story. And so it's a lot easier to feel centered, to feel confident within your values and your mission because that's what you're expressing. And so it's easier to be vulnerable there in that place. Um, and yeah, speaking is very vulnerable. Singing is doubly vulnerable because not only
Mm,
are you using your voice, but you're also doing music on top of it. So
yeah.
it makes it it's there's that extra bit of complexity to it. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that's what audiences want. I think that's what when you're delivering a transformative message, that's
Yeah.
what the audience is looking for. They're seeking that transformation. They're looking for that change that they can uh, apply to themselves that impacts them. And so when you're delivering that, that's it's not only vulnerable, but it's so powerful because
Yeah.
you're really delivering yourself. You're and really expressing that, like I said before, that unique inner genius that comes from those bigger voices that call you to speak.
Mm. I can hear that passion and that drum, like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
Kind of like that whole. So,
exactly.
and I know. Okay, so I've been in business for 15 years, coming out of accounting,
Mhm.
CPA, four walls, or cubby, depending on what time of the career.
Yeah.
And it used to be always about like, let me show you I'm the expert. And it was very masculine. And people wanted that because like, I don't trust you because you're not an expert. So how can you prove to me? And like, you're
Right.
just chasing all these numbers and everything like that.
Yep.
What you're
Yep.
talking about is like what we need, or like I believe we're stopping the blaming and shaming. So I want to go with that for you in a moment here. I want to ask you that question
Uh-huh.
about where you see your work going, in the future.
Mhm.
Um, but what I love about what you're talking about is this stuff about that it's safe to be vulnerable. It's
Mhm.
safe to cry or have some emotion. It's safe to tell a story that you've already healed from or that you
Mhm.
feel very comfortable talking about where you're not pulling people in on the other side, but it bubbles up and it really nurtures them so they can
Right.
really see themselves. With
Hmm.
the work that you're doing, I love everything you're saying. It's just so in alignment with what I feel every day too. And I bet you, audience, that you're feeling that too, because whatever I do, it's just kind of, woo woo or like love or, something like that. But I mean, it's very strategic. It's not like I'm just stuck in the woo.
Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah. Sure.
what is your vision for when it comes to this mindset, working within the body, really being able to see it? It's not just our audience, it's like seeing our husband, our wife, our
Mhm.
kids. It's like it tethers everywhere.
Oh,
So
for
where do you
sure.
see your work going?
Mhm.
Like the stuff you're doing, like what do you feel out there globally if you ever speak about that? But what's happening for you that you're feeling in your vibe about what
I
you're doing?
I think kind of a bigger dream or vision for me is really changing the culture of speaking, especially for women. Um, you know, it's speaking is a political act. And I mean, not only we are transforming our audiences and transforming our businesses through that, but also um, it's a when we speak, it's we're talking about our bigger vision, but we're also talking about um, the way we communicate is so different. Like you mentioned earlier, kind of how things used to be with speaking, and it was so male centered and that kind of thing, and it wasn't from the heart. And as women, we were doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I don't. You probably did that. I know I did that. I did a talk a while ago, and after I was done, the organizer said, "Oh, wow, that was a lot of information," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I made no connection with the audience. Nobody signed up for my workshop or
I
whatever.
love that you're calling yourself out on this too. This is so awesome.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And it was a learning experience for me
Yeah.
because it was heartbreaking. It was just, oh,
Yeah.
it felt awful.
Feels
And I thought,
mucky.
oh, I'm not a speaker. I'll never be able to, all the self-criticism, all the left brain stuff came in. And then I realized just kind of shifting that paradigm on its head, because knowing that was so kind of male oriented, giving the methodology, teaching all the things. It's like when we speak, we want to give all the things. We want to give everything that we have. But that's not what speaking is about, really. It's not about that at all. It's about making that connection with your audience. That's the most important thing. So the
Yeah.
information comes, what you want to do is create curiosity and interest and make that connection with your audience. It's not about teaching them everything you got. That's a very male type of approach.
Yeah.
So kind of thinking, well, as a woman, my mind works differently. I don't work that way. It's kind of like the whole idea of SWOT, that whole, what is it, analyzing your competitor. That's not
Yeah.
me at all. That's not it's not,
Yeah. I had a
that's not
hard
me.
time with the speaking industry. I spent quite a bit of time trying to buy into this stuff, and
Yeah,
now it's just so easy because you show up as you, and the hard work is that you get to grow and heal from whatever you feel like wherever you
exactly.
want to go and what you want to heal from. So I love
Exactly.
that. Where are you seeing the people that you're coaching?
Mhm.
Where are you seeing that their business goes? Meaning, when you start working with somebody,
Mhm.
they start, let's just say, I have an example. I've had some clients like this, and I think this will be great because everybody's trying to figure out, how they fit into this speaker world, and like, and they show up a certain way, but you're like, oh, hey, let's tone it down. Let's add some more of you in there for the audience, and instead of putting that wall up and just speaking at them, So
Right.
when you meet people like that and they really want your help, they're like, hey, I will pay for this. And so you start working with them, but you realize that they are kind of like that it's hard for them to be vulnerable. They just have, the wounds on them, they're just still
Mhm.
really carrying. And so it's hard for them to get there at this point.
Yeah.
What happens to when you start talking to them saying, hey, let's get in a little bit of more heart, let's work those exercises in your body.
Mhm.
Do you see that people are like, I'm not going to use the word healing. I know I didn't say that, but you know what I mean. Like they're moving into something very special where they actually are getting something more than just being a speaker, but they're getting something from you, so they can learn how comfortable that is to be open when they used to believe that everything had to be closed off.
Yeah.
Because when we're talking about this change that's shifting in our business, I
Yeah.
think people are learning. Like we're older, we're not in our 20s and growing into this with this is logical for my kids. But
Right.
for me, it's not. But it is if we're in there, we're watching this transition happen.
Mhm.
So how does that feel when you're working with people like that? This is the question. Where do you feel the challenges when you find somebody so closed off and you know
Mhm.
you want to get them somewhere? What's the biggest challenges you're finding to do that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there are walls that they've built out just for protection, and we do talk about that. Sometimes we do hypnosis to free them, because a lot of times where these walls come up is from childhood strategies that were very successful when they were children, but as you're an adult, they don't work anymore. So it's just kind of a wall. And so what we do is we get them to a place, and sometimes this happens with centering down too. It's just kind of like a semi hypnosis. It's not kind of the deep kind of hypnosis that you can do, um, but really being able to explore those wounds, explore those strategies, release them from those strategies that don't work anymore. They don't serve you anymore. They're not protecting you anymore. And so really bringing those things from the dark back here to the right into the light, and so they can see them and go, you're not working for me anymore. You're just, you're living in my head rent free. you know so you need to go, you're evicted, kind of a thing. And
Yep.
so we work on those types of things, but by the same token, a lot of us, that's kind of where our bigger voices come from. They come from our wounds. They come from um, our struggles. So if you think about your business, where did your business come from? Where's the nucleus of that business? It came from where?
Came from a very masculine side and from video, doing video after video after video to find clients. And it
Right.
started out at a very, scared. How can I get clients? How can I get clients to stepping into how can I be more myself?
Hmm.
And that calming space has helped everything.
Right.
Yeah.
And the coaching that you do, right? The health coaching,
Yeah,
doing
I
that,
do health and business coaching. I believe all
right?
is one and tethered together.
So
So I'm always
how did
looking
that come about? So it's where did that grow from?
for organically because I finally welcomed in my gems. I wanted to cut off accounting CPA. I wanted to sometimes I'm like so tired of talking about food. And I was like, well, because I've been doing it for a while. So
Right.
all is one. How can we do that to support? It really means one thing. So that's how it arrived. But it was like I would tell coaches what I'm doing. They're like, oh, hold on here, you're confusing. And I go, yeah, because I have a variety of things I want to do.
Right.
But no, only pick one thing. And now I'm hearing bring it all together. That's what I'm hearing in my downloads. Bring it all together because that's all you. Show up authentically yourself.
Okay. So let's go a little deeper.
Okay.
So where did that come from? So what I'm
Getting to
trying to
know
get to is
myself,
where
loving
did
myself. Oh, I'm
okay,
sorry.
there we go. That's
Am I
closer.
answering that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it always comes from, for the most part, the people that I've really encountered, is it's not like oh, I just, bought this business just to make money, or I recreated this business just to make money. It came from here. When you create a business, it comes from here. It comes from a struggle, a trauma, a limitation, So when you're a health coach, it usually comes from a health struggle, right? Something that you've personally gone through. So you're empathetic to that.
For
right?
sure. Yeah. 20 years on hypothyroid medicine
There you go.
and 8 years off.
There you go.
So it goes
Right?
deep. Mm-hmm.
So there's that deepness,
Mhm.
right? So sometimes you have to dig deeper, right? It's kind of like you're always asking kind of that why, and kind of, in high tech parlance, we call it drilling down, right? You're just really
Yeah.
going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's where that message is coming from. That's where that inner genius is coming from. And it's going to keep speaking to you
Yep.
louder and louder until you find a way to fully express it.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. I
that's
hear what
where,
you're saying.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where we try to get to with my clients. If they're kind of stuck in the methodology, right? Then it's kind of like, well, where did that come from? Okay, let's go a little deeper. A little deeper. Let's keep going until
Yeah.
we hit that. That's where it is. That's that tipping point that makes you go, I need to do something about this.
So Liz, when I started this business, I would have been a hard, tough shell to crack. And so you may have like turned me away if I showed up this way, but I can remember this exercise about going in deeper. Okay, then what's that? You know what? My brain would shut off and I couldn't answer that. And I saw people answering it and I was like, I get crazy in the head and I couldn't pull
Yeah,
anything because it was that far away.
right.
So it's like it's that work that you help them get into. So that's probably when the hypnosis journey that you help people go through is to be
Right.
able to crack that. Ooh, I love this. This is fun. I love it. Okay, so
Yeah,
we're at the end here, Liz, and
I
I would
know.
love for people. I know, no.
No.
I would just love people to connect with you. I want people to really. I mean, I've been wanting to unravel your gifts so people can really hear, because I believe again we're hashtag speaker locking arms. We're emotionally discovering who we are so that we authentically become ourselves. There is no competition. I work with people in the health industry, business coaching. I want everything that to be able to know about you and how you help people. And I think we did a pretty good job. So where can they connect with you? How can they get to know you more?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, so they can look at Liz Hodge, M.A.A. Yeah, so it's M.A., right? I think that's it.
Not AHO.
Yeah, no, not the whole thing, not the alphabet soup that I
Okay,
created.
so Liz, tell me again. I actually want to know. Okay, so that's I'm gonna put it in here too. So
Yeah,
LinkedIn, and then they can find you, Liz
yeah,
and Hodge.
Liz Hodge, M.A. Yeah, and there's a dot after each letter. So,
Okay, so straight up Liz Hodge, and then M.A.
yeah.
Dot.
There might be, yeah, I'd have to look again. It's been a while since I've actually looked at it, but
But you will be able to find Liz though
yeah,
in.
that they can reach me at liz@lizhodgevoicestudio.com as well. So,
Liz Voice Studio.
mm-hmm.
Liz
Yeah,
at
Liz
Liz
Voice,
Voice Studio.
Liz Hodge Voice Studio.com.
Liz Hodge.
And I have an Instagram. It's Liz Hodge _studio. So I have an Instagram as well. So
So
working on
did
a
I
Facebook.
did I get that right?
LinkedIn. No, that's not right. So let me do it. So it's oops.
Okay, I'll unfeature.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's
you put that in there and then I'll highlight it and I will
let me actually.
finalize this.
Okay.
Okay, everyone. So we have Liz Hodge here. We had some great conversation. You know what I found really cool and interesting is that we're talking to a hypnotherapist. So like when you are working on things, you always want to open up more. You're like, how can I grow more? I mean, I think that's what this industry is about. This is what our learnings are. That I find that I fight with my husband even less now because I feel like nothing's a fight anymore. I'm just like, please tell me more about, call me out, which later it used to be like a fight. And so all this stuff we're learning about how to show up in our relationships, because that really is what fuels everything we do. Is like, because
Yeah.
that's the key. If you're deciding to be a partner with somebody, that can really affect how you're trying to be authentically open. And I used to notice on the weekends, I'd be more robotic in a way, like my old self more until I get in on Monday. And I'd be like, oh, okay, clearing, clearing, clear. Because like, I've
Mhm.
been with my man for 26 years. And so this transition, and we're getting more and more in alignment. So notice where you are in your what you want when you start connecting with Liz. Is do you want to go on this journey where you get to open up, where you get to really be on the hook to learn more about yourself because it's not a waste of time. So many people say, this isn't therapy. And I go, no, this is on you. We're kind of
Right.
moving in that direction so you can be
Yeah.
open and authentic. And so Liz talked a lot about vocals, vulnerability, being in your body, and being able to feel like you're utilizing the strength because that is where you get out of the left brain and into the right. I love that. I haven't heard somebody actually speak like that because she's also talking about heart center and all
Hmm.
that comes in alignment when you start getting into the right side of the brain. So we
Exactly.
have Liz, and this will also be once we stop the live call. We'll make sure that we have this information for you in the section of the YouTube video too. Thank
Awesome.
you, Liz, for being here. I appreciate you so much.
Well,
You're
thank you
really
so much
fabulous,
for
my
having
friend.
me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Hey, this is what it is. This mindset matters. So Fresh Talks Global Vision. We've been playing with Mindset Matters. I hope you're enjoying this journey. If you're coming from our newsletter, I'd like to hear from you. If you're coming from social media, just tell me where you're coming from. And I appreciate every moment with you because we have some fabulous people. You know what's really cool about Liz is I kept asking questions and Liz knew the answer. You want to be with people like that so that when you get stuck, somebody will not give you an answer that's wrong. They won't just blast it out, that they'll actually sit with you and
Mhm.
really work with you because they have the answers. If they don't know the answers, they will be authentically truthful about it.
Totally
But
willing
you
to
can
say I
feel,
don't know.
yeah, you can feel
And
the
I'll figure it
confidence.
out.
Yeah, you can feel the confidence and the love of where Liz is coming from. And I'm finding that these people coming in are at that level. So I appreciate you, Liz, and you sharing your
Thank
gems.
you so much. I
Love you, my friend.
appreciate being on your show. Thank you so much, Rhonda. I really appreciate what you do.